My name is Caitlyn and I'm passionate about theater arts. I'm passionate about improv and stage managing. Let's get started, house to half. When I think theater, I think of like the classic quote, like the blood of the covenant is stronger than the water of the womb, because I feel like the family that I have in theater is often like more of the people that I would want to hang out with more than like my own family. And I love my family to pieces, but this family that I've had through theater, we all are working together to create one piece of art, and we're working together to have the audience enjoy what they're watching, and we're working together to just create something beautiful. Our theater program is a little bit more intense than other programs because we usually have 2 shows going on at the same time. And I'm stage managing both of the shows that we have going on right now, and because I'm like the stage manager for the theater department, that includes like going to every single rehearsal and doing all of that. I have to send out information to the cast, I have to get the lighting cues ready, I have to practice my cues, and I have to like find crew, talk to crew, do all of the things. So theater's on my mind constantly in whatever I'm doing. So I think the hardest thing for me at least is putting in the time. Even though I enjoy doing it, it's a lot of time that I sacrifice. So it's stressful, but it's really rewarding too, because you can kind of sit back and then look at the show that you've produced and that you've done and made, and then you can go like, wow, I did that. When I'm at theater, when we're actually in rehearsals and stuff like that, a lot of people would think that like you'd be having more friends and like you'd be hanging out and doing things like that, but I often end up like kind of alone in my own world, because although I am working with my ASMs and my tech team and the crew, I'm kind of alone in my own world when I'm calling shows and doing things like that. Loneliness started like pretty early for me. My parents are divorced and I don't have any siblings, so I would kind of find my own time and like figure out games to play by myself and do different things like that. And I lived kind of far away from the rest of my friends, so I couldn't just like walk down the street and hang out. So I would figure out my own thing to do, but kind of looking back, I realized that I was like very lonely and just trying to cope with that. So my parents got divorced when like I wasn't even a year old, so that hasn't really affected me because I still saw my dad like every Tuesday and like on weekends and stuff. But my dad was an alcoholic and he dealt with his addiction, and that was really difficult for me because I was really close with my dad. And then he eventually got over his addiction and became sober, but then he had a relapse, which was really difficult because I didn't see him for about a year. Our relationship was really like hurt by that, but we're kind of back to normal now. At that point, I didn't really know what he was going through and I didn't know why I couldn't see him. And I was upset with my mom because she wouldn't tell me and she wouldn't really like let me know what was happening. So that was a really difficult time for me because I felt just like completely alone in the world. And so I like blamed God for all of my issues. Around that time I had also like been bullied at church. That was kind of like a really difficult time because church is like the one place that you should feel welcomed. And so I like blamed God for all of my issues. And then I took a year away from the church. So I didn't really have anyone like around me. Like I didn't have my mom. I didn't really have many friends because a lot of them had like moved away or they had just kind of become friends with other people. And I didn't have my dad and I didn't have God as an outlet either. And then I went to a place called Mount Hermon, this like Christian camp that I've been going to since I was in 3rd grade. And then that kind of like restored my faith in God, because for the first time in my life I had actually like felt God with me. Like we got back from camp and I had kind of told my mom, I was like, I think I want to start going back to church. Then she had said like, oh, well there's like the East Side just opened up a satellite campus in La Habra. So if you want to try that. So I was like, yeah, I'll try it out. Like that sounds kind of fun. And then I came, like everyone there was just so welcoming and so excited that I was there. And it was really nice to just be there and have a family. And I loved it. And so I've been coming here ever since. At La Habra, we have leaders and we kind of just like split up and then go into different groups, which I really like because it's not separated. We more have discussions like as a big group. I know every single person that goes to the Habra Campus, and I feel like I know all of them pretty well. So it's definitely become like a second family to me, and I really enjoy like coming to church and hanging out with everyone. So if someone's on the fence about going to church, I think just go. Like, why not go? It's not gonna harm you in any way. Like, you'll get a free dinner out of it, so why not? And you might find something more. Like, you might find another family, or you might find God, and you might find other things in your life that are missing. And sometimes, like, you don't know what you're missing until you find it. And I think that that's very true with God and with the family that I found at church. I didn't know I was missing anything. I didn't know there was that hole in my life until I met the family at church and until I re-met God.
In the quiet of a garden, loneliness loomed loud. Through a space in which only good existed, the brokenness of loneliness found a way in. So God did what he saw fit, and he gave an answer to the question loneliness was asking. A walking, talking, breathing being, sufficient enough to fill the gap that loneliness left. But even then, in a hidden garden, it fought back, and loneliness' desire for attention demands an answer today. So the question isn't whether or not we will encounter loneliness, but instead, what we do when we experience it. Loneliness rings in the crowded halls of a high school, through the battered tent of a homeless man and the distant fields of a farmer, and even present on a stage for all to see. No race, financial class, lifestyle, or fame makes you exempt. So what do we do? Where do we go when loneliness rears its head? Because the irony of loneliness is that we're not alone in the battle against it. And so our best weapon is to open a door, to take a step, to extend a hand, to look a fellow fighter in the eyes. It's time to move. So why not now?